Rachel said, "I'm sorry" 47 times in one day. Her coworker counted. Thought it was funny. Rachel didn't think it was funny. She apologized for things that weren't her fault. Apologized for existing in spaces. Apologized for speaking. Apologized for taking up time. Apologized for apologizing. It was automatic. A reflex she couldn't control. Until one Tuesday when her boss asked her a question that changed everything. "Why are you apologizing for doing your job correctly?" Rachel had no answer. That's when she realized her constant apologizing wasn't politeness. It was erasure. She was apologizing for existing. What happened when she stopped apologizing changed how everyone saw her. Including herself. Rachel was 28 and apologized for everything. Someone bumped into her? Sorry. Someone interrupted her mid-sentence? Sorry, I'll wait. Her ideas got dismissed in meetings? Sorry, maybe that wasn't clear. Someone took credit for her work? Sorry, I should have communicated better. She apologized when she was right. When she wasn't wrong. When she had nothing to apologize for. The word "sorry" was her default response to existing. It started young. Be nice. Don't make waves. Don't be difficult. Don't take up too much space. These messages shaped her. By the time she was an adult, she'd internalized the idea that her presence was an inconvenience. That her voice was a burden. That her needs were secondary to everyone else's comfort. So she apologized, constantly. For everything. The AT work, she was the most apologetic person in the building. Sent emails that started with, "Sorry to bother you." Prefaced questions with, "Sorry, quick question." Ended statements with, "Sorry if that doesn't make sense." Her colleagues noticed. Some found it endearing. Most found it annoying. A few took advantage of it. If Rachel apologized for everything, she could be blamed for anything. Her manager would interrupt her presentations. Rachel would apologize and let him continue. A coworker would steal her ideas and present them as his own. Rachel would stay quiet, not wanting to cause conflict. She'd work late fixing other people's mistakes and apologize for needing clarification. She did more work than most people on her team and apologized the entire time. Her personal life was the same. Friends would cancel plans last minute. Rachel would say, "No worries, sorry if I seemed pushy about it." Her boyfriend would criticize her constantly. Rachel would apologize and try to change. Someone would be rude to her at a coffee shop. Rachel would apologize for ordering wrong even though she ordered correctly. She was apologizing her way through life, making herself smaller, quieter, less. The turning point came during a team meeting. Rachel had been working on a project for 3 months. She'd done everything right, exceeded expectations. The presentation was flawless. At the end, her boss said, "Great work, Rachel." She immediately responded, "Oh, sorry, I know it took longer than expected." Her boss stared at her. "Why are you apologizing? You finished early and did excellent work. Why are you sorry?" The room went silent. Rachel opened her mouth to apologize again and stopped. Why was she apologizing? She hadn't done anything wrong. She'd done everything right. The apology was automatic, meaningless. A verbal tick that undermined everything she said. Her boss continued. "You apologize constantly. For doing your job. For being good at your job. For existing. Why?" Rachel had no answer. The question haunted her the rest of the day. Why did she apologize so much? She started paying attention. Counted her apologies. 47 in one workday. Most of them completely unnecessary. She apologized for sending emails. For asking questions she had every right to ask. For taking up space she was entitled to. For speaking in meetings she was supposed to contribute to. She was drowning in unnecessary apologies. That night, Rachel researched chronic over-apologizing. Found articles about it. Studies. Patterns. Women do it more than men. People pleasers do it constantly. It's often rooted in low self-worth. The message behind constant apologizing, "I don't deserve to be here. My presence is an imposition. Please forgive me for existing." That hit hard. That's exactly what she was saying. Every apology was asking permission to exist. She decided to stop. Not gradually. Immediately. No more apologizing unless she actually did something wrong. This was harder than it sounded. The word sorry was so automatic. Saying anything else felt rude, aggressive, wrong. But she committed. The next day at work, someone bumped into her. Her mouth opened to say sorry. She stopped, said nothing, kept walking. It felt uncomfortable. Like she'd broken a rule. But she hadn't. She'd just not apologized for being bumped into. That was normal. That was how it should be. In a meeting, she had a question. Usually would have said, sorry, quick question. This time, I have a question. That's it. No apology. No qualification. Just the question. Her coworkers looked at her differently. The question was taken more seriously. When you don't apologize, people don't question whether you should be speaking out. A coworker asked her to work late covering his mistake. Usually Rachel would say, of course, sorry I didn't catch this earlier. This time, that's not my mistake to fix. You'll need to stay late. The coworker looked shocked, tried to push back. Rachel held firm. I have plans tonight. This is your responsibility. He stayed late, fixed his own mistake. Didn't ask Rachel again. The first week of not apologizing was exhausting. Every instinct screamed to say sorry, to smooth things over, to make herself smaller. But she didn't. She spoke clearly, took up space without apologizing for it, set boundaries without softening them. And something strange happened. People respected her more. Her emails changed. Quick question instead of sorry to bother you with a quick question. The responses came faster, were more helpful. When you don't apologize for emailing someone, they take the email more seriously. They don't see it as a bother because you're not framing it as one. In meetings, she stopped prefacing her ideas with apologies. Just stated them, confidently. Her ideas got implemented more often. Turns out when you don't apologize for your ideas, people assume they have merit. Her manager noticed. You seem different lately. More confident. Rachel didn't apologize and explain. Just said, thank you. Her boyfriend didn't handle the change well. He was used to Rachel apologizing and accommodating. When she stopped, conflict increased. He'd criticize her outfit. She'd usually apologize and change. This time, I like what I'm wearing. He'd make plans without asking her. She'd usually apologize for having a different opinion. This time, that doesn't work for me. Let's find something that works for both of us. He didn't like it. Accused her of being difficult, aggressive. Changed, she realized something. He liked the apologetic version of Rachel. The version that made herself small. That never pushed back. That apologized for having needs. The real Rachel, the one with boundaries and self-respect, he didn't like at all. They broke up 3 weeks later. She didn't apologize for it. Her friendships shifted too. The friends who respected her stayed. Adjusted to the new dynamic. The friends who liked having someone to walk over got uncomfortable. Drifted away. Rachel realized those weren't real friendships anyway. Real friends don't need you to constantly apologize for existing. 3 months after she stopped apologizing, Rachel got promoted. Her boss said she'd been considered before, but seemed too uncertain. Too apologetic. The change in her communication made her seem like leadership material. The irony wasn't lost on Rachel. She was doing the same quality work, just not apologizing for it. That was the only difference. 6 months later, Rachel barely recognized her old self. The woman who apologized 47 times a day felt like a stranger. She'd retrained her brain. Broke the habit. Now she only apologized when she actually did something wrong. When she made a mistake, hurt someone, dropped the ball. Real apologies. Meaningful ones. The rest were gone. Her coworkers treated her differently. With more respect. Her opinions carried weight. Her boundaries were respected. Her time was valued. Not because she'd changed her competence. Because she'd changed how she presented herself. Stopped apologizing for being competent. She started a new relationship. With someone who liked her as she was. Didn't need her to be smaller or quieter or more apologetic. When conflicts came up, she stated her perspective without softening it with unnecessary apologies. The relationship was healthier, more balanced, built on mutual respect instead of her constant accommodation. Here's what Rachel learned. Apologizing when you're wrong is important. Apologizing for existing is destructive. Every unnecessary apology tells people you don't deserve to be there. You're not sure you should speak. You're taking up space you haven't earned. People believe you. They treat you accordingly. When you stop apologizing for things that don't require apologies, you reclaim your space, your voice, your right to exist without asking permission. People notice. They treat you better because you're treating yourself better. Confidence isn't loud. It's just not apologetic. If you apologize constantly, start tracking it. Count how many times you say sorry in one day. You'll be shocked. Then ask yourself, how many of those apologies were necessary? How many were real mistakes? Most won't be. Most will be automatic responses to existing in space. Stop apologizing for asking questions. You have a right to information. Stop apologizing for sending emails. That's literally communication. Stop apologizing for your ideas. If they weren't valuable, you wouldn't be in the meeting. Stop apologizing for taking up time. Your time matters as much as anyone else's. Replace "sorry to bother you" with a quick question. Replace "sorry if this doesn't make sense" with "let me know if you need clarification." Replace "sorry, I have a different opinion" with "I see it differently." Remove the apology. Keep the communication. Watch how differently people respond to set boundaries without apologizing. "That doesn't work for me" is a complete sentence. You don't need to apologize for having boundaries. People who get angry at your boundaries are angry because they can't cross them anymore. That's their problem, not yours. Apologize when you're actually wrong. When you make a real mistake. When you hurt someone. Those apologies matter. They have weight. But when you apologize for everything, your real apologies become meaningless. Save sorry for when it's warranted. The word regains its power. Rachel spent 28 years apologizing for existing. One question from her boss changed everything. Why are you apologizing? If you can't answer that question, you shouldn't be apologizing. It's that simple. Most of the time, you're not sorry. You're just trained to make yourself smaller. Stop. Take up space. Speak without apologizing. Exist without asking permission. You have as much right to be here as anyone else. Act like it.